Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Veronica Mphathi. I'm excited to have you join me today for this session where I'll be talking about the growth mindset. My belief is that those who watch my content and those who continue to consume my content are people who are high achievers, people with high potential who want to max out their potential and reach their goals. And this is why this content is good for you. I'm an entrepreneur. I've worked as an executive. I continue to push my limits. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I am a sister. I'm a lot in society. So growth for me is pressure on every side. And I'm constantly trying to push my talent, my abilities to reach the goals that I set for myself. And so if you find my content interesting, it's because we are joined at that common understanding or that common desire to grow and max out our talent. Today, I'm talking to you about the growth mindset. And the things that I want you to take away from today's discussion is first and foremost, why your mindset is so important in your growth and in your success. You cannot grow, you cannot succeed if you don't pay attention to your mindset and how it's been wired and working towards wiring it in a way that serves you, not way that hinders your progress. I'll be sharing about the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset and the origins of that discussion, so that when we talk about the growth mindset, we sort of have an understanding of what it is and how it serves you, and what the opposite of it is and how it maybe blocks your progress. And I also want us to talk about the mindset and how it hinders your achievement, or how it impacts your achievements and your lack thereof, not just in the short term, but most importantly in the long term. So I'm trying to have us play a long game, and so talking about these things and seeing how a growth mindset in general sort of primes you for long-term success. That's sort of the discussion we want to get into, and just share a few tips here and there from my experience and from my research as well that could help us both grow more of a growth mindset or develop more of a growth mindset than the opposite. So those are the few takeaways I want us to get from today. And the first one is really zeroing in on the mindset. It's not cliche. I know we speak about it a lot, especially on the African continent, but it's not cliche. It's actually really a huge deal. At least I'm convinced. A mindset or a mental paradigm is just a set of beliefs that you hold about certain things, and the thought patterns and the perspective that you have about the world, how you process thoughts. So that's why I'm saying thought patterns, a certain belief system, the way you see the world, the lens through which you see the world, and therefore you interpret things that way because that's how you perceive them, that's how what you believe about them. So that's basically a mindset, and we could get into a lot of detail about how our mental paradigms are formed from our childhood, what we grow up hearing around the house, the phrases we keep hearing from people about ourselves and about life, about money, about everything. You sort of absorb all of that as a baby, and all of that just comes into your mind. And some of it we gain from school. When we're in school, there's certain belief systems that we are, which are developed in us through the schooling system. Some directly in what you are taught in class, some in the way that things are done at school, where failure, for example, is discarded as, you shouldn't fail, otherwise you repeat a module, you repeat a whole, grade. But later on in life, we're out here telling you to embrace failure and celebrate failure, and then you get confused. At what point did we start celebrating failure? It's because our mental paradigm or our mindset was already grounded on failure is bad. So some of these are things that we get from school, and then learning from other people, even as we go around, what's held as the norm in our society. This is how women must speak or dress, or this is the level of success that society thinks is okay to have. If you exceed that level of success, maybe you are into some voodoo, or you are corrupt, or maybe you have sacrificed your children, because society, the norm that's held is that success can only be up to a particular level. So I'm just giving you examples of how our mental paradigms are formed. Then you carry that as true in your mind, and that's how you interpret the world, that's how you see the world. And even your own experiences as well can sort of shape how you see the world. So you're like, I've gone through this, and that's why you hear some people saying, oh, men are dogs, or this, that, the other. So making a strong conclusion that forms a paradigm in your mind based off of your own experiences. So that's how mental paradigms are formed. Some mental paradigms or mindsets are good, they serve you. Some of them just don't serve you. They become limiting beliefs, and then they stop you from progressing. And that is why this discussion around mindset is so important, because most of it is then going into your subconscious mind, and then it starts controlling us. and you're out here acting, making decisions, and judging certain circumstances in your business or in your job, discussions around certain topics, and you already have a particular viewpoint about that topic, and you don't know that it's coming from a subliminal place in you that was formed in other areas, and it's influencing how you decide, how you judge. And that's why everybody who's keen to grow and lead must be aware of their mindset. So today we're discussing the growth mindset and sort of what is the growth mindset. Where did this phrase, the growth mindset, come from? Well, it was developed by a psychologist called Caroline. She did a study where she then discovered that some people have a growth mindset and some have a fixed mindset. So the core of the idea is about intelligence. In the growth mindset, the idea is that intelligence and like your abilities can be developed through learning, through effort, through dedication, through hard work. So it's the belief that intelligence and abilities can be learned. So the impact of the work that she did, it's been fruitful. It's been seen to work in education, where people even in elementary school have seen how they encourage young people to learn, where when they fail, they no longer see failure as you are dumb, you are stupid, you are nothing. They see where they have not done well in something, that I'm not yet competent in this thing, or I'm not yet there with this thing. So this not yet then replaces the failure. So it sort of replaces it with I'm on a growth journey. So then that's seen to have changed a lot in terms of how young learners actually perceive learning and their excitement towards learning, even about their belief about intelligence. Remember, I said the core idea is about intelligence and abilities, and knowing through the growth mindset, we believe that intelligence can be improved and that your abilities can also be improved. So imagine introducing that at education or lower level, basic education. So a child grows up knowing that learning is something that I can always do to improve my intelligence. I'm no longer thinking I'm dumb, I'm stupid, I'm nothing. I'm actually working to improve my abilities, etc. So then it also was adopted by people in business such as myself, starting to see that we can learn, we can grow, we can improve our abilities first as the individuals who are leading businesses, as well as others who are in the business. So for me, I really love this concept. For when I started learning about the growth mindset, I immediately started seeing that I actually have a growth mindset. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm just saying that I'm naturally wired to more of a growth mindset. I believe that things can be learned, intelligence can be stretched and improved, my abilities can be improved if I work hard, if I'm dedicated. I'm just generally wired toward the growth mindset. So that was not an issue for me. But as soon as I learned that, it didn't become something where I'm like, yeah, so I have a growth mindset, and so let's go, let me see the other people who don't have a growth mindset, who have a fixed mindset. I didn't go there. For me, I then started seeing that, so because I'm already naturally wired towards this, how can I use it more and more to grow it and serve my visions and my goals more, as well as how can I assist other people? Even that, I saw that I was already somehow naturally geared towards helping somebody become better, improve their abilities. And I actually believed that their intelligence was not fixed, it's not like innate and like fixed, where it can't be stretched, improved, etc. Even when I see that the owner of the intelligence actually believes that they are limited. For me, I've always believed, even when I can see what somebody thinks about themselves, to help them develop a growth mindset. So learning about Carol Dweck's research and sort of how it's impacting the world really helped me personally and in the business. And I've always now been like almost a preacher of the same, to help others not only just diagnose themselves, I have a fixed mindset, but to also see that you can develop a growth mindset even when you are presupposed to this growth mindset like I am. You can still grow it and become more and more, able and more intelligent, as it were. Now it's talking about your abilities in general. So it's also been applied to personal development. There are those who are in the personal development space who are also big on using the growth mindset so people can sort of improve the areas of their lives where they need to improve. So I have not worked in the personal development space. I just see how it works and how it shows up in the business environment. And so I try to apply that with my children at home, seeing as Carol Dweck has also applied it with, elementary school learners. So that is sort of the origin of the growth mindset. I want to sort of draw a parallel, maybe just show the juxtaposition of a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset before we go any further. So a growth mindset, according to Carol Dweck, is the belief that intelligence and abilities can be developed through effort, like I said, through hard work, through learning. So if you're dedicated to learning and improving, you can improve your intelligence, you can improve your abilities. When the growth mindset the fixed mindset on the other side is the belief that the intelligence that one has, or the abilities that one has, or the talent that one is endowed with is about all that one could ever have, that it cannot be grown through effort or ability, or learning or dedication or hard work. Fixed mindset people actually believe that you're either intelligent or not. That's it. You're either gifted, talented or not. That's it. You just work with what you have been endowed. That is their mindset. And it's a strong mindset, because one thinks that even if I was to put a lot of effort or to do a lot of, I still will not change my core level of intelligence. I will still not change my talent. The talent is what it is. And, so I've always seen, actually, now that I've learned the fixed mindset and how it's really controlling as a mindset or as a way of perceiving things, that when somebody feels that their intelligence is finished, they then don't work hard to improve their abilities in that way. They would rather work hard to either posture and subdue the room with their funny actions and strong handshakes and all these other things that we speak about in my video around posturing. Or they will then believe that they can maybe work with networks and connections. And if you have connections, then those connections can make things happen for you. And I'm not saying that I don't believe that you have a network of people that you can draw from. But for a fixed mindset person, they believe that their core abilities and intelligence is fixed and it's not going to change. So the way to survive is to use connections, to dominate others, to come into a room and subdue everybody. So then it results in all those funny behaviors, just because at the core of it, somebody thinks that they cannot grow their intelligence or their abilities or their talent because they believe it's fixed. So that is the juxtaposition. Now, the way the growth mindset person and the fixed mindset person see challenges, it then is where it fundamentally changes or differs, because one with the growth mindset sees a challenge as an opportunity to learn, to grow, to fall, rise, learn again, improve your intelligence and abilities, and win again next time. On the other hand, the person with the fixed mindset sees a challenge as a threat, something that's coming to expose their inabilities, to expose their limited intelligence. So they don't see it as an opportunity. Yeah, here's a challenge, let's find a solution, let's solve, let's go. They see it as, let's attack it because it's out here to expose us. It's about to reveal that I ain't got it. So, but you have got it. You can't say that, but that's the mindset. When somebody's already believing that thing, like I said, at the mindset level, it's coming from deeper places. Maybe when they were young, they tried something and somebody said, you can't do it, you are not able, and they believed it and it stuck. So they just grew up knowing that my intelligence is limited, or maybe they were compared to other people, and they've now believed it's solid, it's strong. Therefore, when a challenge shows up, it's like, I've been appointed CEO. Here's a challenge that's coming to expose me. So when they see challenges or problems, they see them as a threat. Even when they see somebody who is doing well, they see that person also as a threat. That's why I'm saying a fixed mindset is actually quite dangerous. So those are the two, just for us to appreciate a fixed mindset person and a growth mindset person. So let's just take a few more traits to appreciate maybe a lot deeper, so maybe you can also start identifying where you fall. Let's talk about a fixed mindset. The traits of a fixed mindset. So somebody with a fixed mindset avoids challenges, like I said. So they see challenges as a threat, and therefore they prefer to be in their comfort zone. It becomes very difficult for you to get somebody with a fixed mindset to come out of their comfort zone and get into a place where they will be having to learn, or where they'll be having to fail publicly, because then that embarrassment is not something that their minds can handle. Because the reason they see it as a bit more of an embarrassment than somebody with a growth mindset mindset would, is because they think it's here to expose me. It's here to show that I actually don't have that intelligence, or I actually don't have those abilities. So because they see it as something that exposes them versus something they could learn from and grow from, they see that embarrassment as almost life-threatening, like the end of me kind of embarrassment. So when you give something challenging to a growth mindset person and you're asking them to step away from what they know and what they're comfortable with, it's almost like you've insulted one. So I have then seen that when I work with people, and I always try to work around it. I've had people who were my superiors before who I've seen that, oh, my superior actually has a fixed mindset. When it's time to take on something that takes them outside of their comfort zone, they're not about to do it. Some people say, I don't want to hold staff meetings. I don't want to go into rooms where there's staff members there and they start asking me all these questions and they expose my incompetence. So that person will not step out and go meet staff members face to face because they're afraid that they're going to expose them. You see what I mean? So that's what the fixed mindset person feels. My abilities, this is it. I've made it to CEO. I'm not even about to start embarrassing myself. They don't think that they can step outside where it's more embarrassing, where it's time for growth, time to learn new things, time to reflect, etc. So that where you have to step out, or you make them speak, maybe addressing the media out loud, or maybe standing on a platform out loud, they just avoid stepping into something that would make them that uncomfortable. So rather they would stay in their comfort zone. If this describes you, my friend, then let's be thankful that at least you are hearing about it, that it's coming from a subliminal place, more subconscious place, where it's a bit more fixed about your belief, your ability to stretch your intelligence, or to stretch and grow your abilities. So then a fixed mindset person then doesn't like to embarrass themselves in that way or to come. Nobody wants to embarrass themselves in general, but what I'm saying is it's even stronger with a fixed mindset person because they see it as, this is the end of me. People are about to find me out, and I believe that I can't grow my intelligence, my abilities. This is the end of it. So why are you throwing this challenge at me? Why are you throwing me out into a place where I won't be able to survive because I can't grow there? So that is why the fixed mindset is so dangerous for you if you're a high achiever. High achieving means you're always going to have to step out into places that you're not so comfortable in. The other trait of a fixed mindset is that it gives up easily, because when things show up, you believe that your ability, your intelligence is limited. When something comes that you can't do, you give up easily. You don't start thinking, you know what, I can grow my abilities, I can grow my talent and tackle this thing. No, that comes as option number 100 and you never reach that option. First option is let's give up. This is here to embarrass us. This is here to expose that I don't have the ability to do this. I don't have the intelligence enough to give to throw into this. So they give up quite easily. That's a trait of a fixed mindset, and I'm going to discuss how a growth mindset sort of sees failure, or how to persist through. To only persist through and keep going on something, it means you believe you are developing abilities to actually conquer that thing. But if you have a fixed mindset, you believe your abilities are fixed. That's it. What God has given you, that's about it. It's not about to grow. It's not about to be improved. So when something comes, you can't persist and keep trying. You give up easily. Like, this one is beyond my intelligence. I'm not even going to bother. And they usually don't even go into like further studies, or when they get something that they think this is the best education I'll ever get, that's it. And they even want you to worship that level of achievement in their studies, because they are not about to try the next one and try the next one and try the next one. It doesn't even matter how confident somebody comes off. If they are not trying to go into something where they're learning and stretching and growing, they have a fixed mindset, and it's time for us to acknowledge it and start developing a growth mindset. So the other trait of a fixed mindset is that they see effort as fruitless, because they believe that their abilities are static. They believe that your intelligence is static. Then they're not going to put in an effort to sort of improve certain areas. And when I say it, it sounds a little bit like, I know somebody who's like that. But it's important that we identify it within ourselves. Do you see effort as something that's fruitless? You're like, this is my talent. It's either I have it or I don't. Or, I was listening to my colleagues the other day, and they were talking about Messi. Sorry, I'm not a football person, but they were talking about football. So they were saying Messi and Ronaldo, and they were like, Messi just naturally has it. You can just see this guy just, But Ronaldo, yes, he's talented, but he puts a lot of effort. So you can see that this guy has built, for what he naturally had, he had to grow it. So now it's up to you in your own field. How do you see yourself? Do you think you can succeed and be the one of the world's best through effort, or you believe that because you're not endowed with the talent, then you can't ever try? So these are the things that I'm saying. You have to identify whether you think effort actually gets you somewhere, or you're like, I can't put effort in this thing. Maybe somebody with a network or a connection can make me get in, or maybe if my boss likes me, likes my smile, or my boss thinks, if I start gossiping about other people, maybe my boss will promote me. Those things that we see, they sound petty when I mention them, but they really are true, and they're coming from a deep place within somebody's mental subconscious mind, like somebody's mental paradigm, in a deep place where they would rather use all these other ways to get to the top, because at the core of it, they believe that they don't have enough talent, they were not endowed with enough intelligence and abilities, and therefore, because they have a fixed mindset which believes that can't be grown, they would rather look for other ways. If it means taking you, throwing you under the bus, or stepping on you to get to the top, they will do it. So yours as a high achiever is to understand whether you also have this kind of mindset, or that you're functioning with people with this kind of mindset, and understand where they're coming from. Either if it's your team members or your colleagues, how do you support them to develop a growth mindset, but coming from a place of absolute awareness of your own mindset and how you can improve your own mindset, but also survival around these people. For me, when I notice that somebody who's above me has a fixed mindset, whether it's my board chair or my board members, or it's an executive that I report to, whatever the case, I start doing what I call managing upwards. In fact, I don't think I'm the one who invented that. It must have been something from, I don't know if it was a Steve book. There's somebody, Stephen Covey, I'm not sure, but somebody's book who taught me about managing upwards, meaning that you have to be aware of the sort of mindset, in this case, that your superior has, and sort of manage upwards, and know that this person has a fixed mindset. They're going to avoid challenges, they're going to give up easily, or they're going to see effort as fruitless on their part. They're not going to step out and be, in the media, or they're not going to step out and challenge themselves and do something embarrassing, or even during team building activities, they're not about to step out and start jumping with everybody else, because for them that's not in their area of comfort. So you start managing upwards and knowing, which buttons to touch and which ones not to. So it starts first with you. Understand these traits. Identify them in yourself and see where you can start growing from a fixed mindset more to a growth mindset. And then also look around you and see how you can support others, not start judging others. And you have a growth mindset, you have a fixed mindset, and then that's not the idea behind this. If you're thinking like that, probably this channel is not even for you, period. This one is for those who want to grow, want to improve themselves, be a blessing in their world, get others growing, surround themselves with those who are excited also about growth, and also, trump certain environments where you need to be aware of these types of things to survive and grow as well. And see when somebody literally takes you and throws you under the bus, what sort of inspired that about themselves, and now you just happen to be, that guinea pig in the process. So it's important that you're aware of this for your own growth, for your own advancement. So the other thing that's a trait about a fixed mindset is fixed mindset people ignore feedback. In fact, they don't receive criticism well, because it's like when you are pointing out something that somebody with a fixed mindset is not doing right, it's like you are exposing them. Remember, they feel that what they have is all they have. The abilities, the intelligence, the talent they have, they believe it's fixed, it's static, it's not about to change. So when you give me feedback and say I'm not doing something right, what do you want me to do? That's how they take it. What do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? How do you want me to improve it and increase it? Like how? This is it. Because of their fixed mindset, because of their belief that what I have is it. When you give me feedback and say this it is not enough, what do you want me to do? That is the person with the fixed mindset. Innately, they don't believe there is anything. So that's why they block feedback. They either don't want to hear feedback, period. And that's why I was giving you an example of maybe you don't want to go meet staff members because you feel like it's going to be confrontational, they'll be exposing me. That's where the expose is coming from, a deeper place where you think you actually have limited abilities that can't be grown. And that's why feedback feels like it's a personal attack. Yeah, that's a fixed mindset. And then also, the last thing maybe that I can share about a fixed mindset person is that they feel threatened by the success of others. So when somebody around them gets successful, remember, they think that what they have been endowed with can't be grown even if they put effort. They don't believe in effort. So they're like, what you have by talent, by ability, by intelligence, aesthetic, it can't be grown. So when you see somebody else achieving something higher, that other one achieving something higher, it immediately makes them feel threatened. Therefore, they lead with envy and resentment of these people. And that is where you'll find most of the time across the businesses that we serve in or that we get engaged with. You find a lot of people are just pulling talented people down because within themselves they just feel that the abilities that I have as a fixed mindset believer, they say the abilities that I have and the intelligence is static, it can't be grown. Therefore, you going up is to expose me. You doing it better is expose me. They're not thinking, wow, Veronica, you do it so well. Can I learn from you? No. Can I learn from you is not in the list of things that the fixed mindset person is trying to do. So the idea is not to judge. The idea is to first assess whether that's you and how then can you develop more of a growth mindset, which I'm getting to in a minute. Or to realize that some of those people within your team could also be in that position. So you can also be coaching as a leader to get them more towards a fixed mindset, to get them more towards a growth mindset rather than to judge them and to start labeling them. You have a fixed mindset and you're making things worse. And also, if it's somebody above you, you also want to manage upwards, like I said, from an understanding perspective, but it starts with you. Let me now touch on growth mindset traits. The fixed mindset is not admirable. It's not nice to talk about. Even me going through those traits just felt like, like I'm judging the world. But we have to understand it. It's not me, it's Carol Dweck. And if we understand it, it can help us in our own growth, in our own businesses, in our own careers. So the growth mindset traits. So the growth mindset individual first and foremost sees challenges as an opportunity to learn. We say this not because we're saying that somebody with a growth mindset naturally just gets excited that, here's a challenge, we're gonna learn. You understand? But then the general view or perspective of a challenge that's been presented before us, it's let's figure it out, let's try to learn. And you'll even remember in school that there would always be those groups of people who, when something is put before us, it's a challenge, let's figure it out, let's see how we can sort it out. If we don't know how we can sort it out, let's sort of go into ourselves and see how we can stretch our intelligence and try to solve this problem. When somebody else, a problem is presented in front of them, fixed mindset person thinks, I don't have the intelligence to sort this out, so we're not even going to try. So that's what I'm trying to show, according to Carol Dweck. He's shown that somebody with a growth mindset looks at a challenge and says, I'm going to have to learn how to figure this out, And so for me, before I learned about the growth mindset and the fixed mindset, I used to actually judge myself and wonder why it is that challenges sort of excite me, and it's almost like I'm always looking for them, So when a challenge shows up, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to have to learn from this thing. I'm going to have to reflect and figure this thing out. Even if it means I don't sleep, just to spend the night figuring this thing. I didn't know that in the subconscious, I actually thought it's learnable. Do you get my point? That the challenge is figure-outable. Yeah, so that is a growth mindset. So even if you are not currently like that, because the appetite for taking challenges also differs, yeah? It doesn't mean that if you don't like challenges in general, then it means you don't have a growth mindset. Nobody likes challenges in general. So don't judge yourself just yet. It's just the appetite for challenges also grows with time. For me, when I'm in a comfort zone, I quickly jump out of that comfort zone. I'm just wired like that. I love challenges. I like to grow and stretch myself and challenge myself and see how better I can do it. But that doesn't mean I impose it on everybody else to also learn and grow in that way. But I'm just saying, it appears because life is naturally going to throw challenges at us, especially if you're a high achiever, you want to hit your goals, you want to grow and take more responsibility. Challenges will be your daily bread. So the sooner you can change your perspective and your belief system about challenges, and most importantly about your abilities, that with your abilities, your talent, you can stretch them, you can grow your abilities, you can learn, you can put effort. And so when a challenge comes, there is an opportunity to learn exactly that. It's an opportunity to learn new skills, an opportunity to learn new approaches and sort this thing out. So that is why I'm thinking, when we start talking about the growth mindset, even that is not like, oh, that those who have arrived. I never think I've arrived. I'm always thinking, I gotta learn. I gotta come out of my comfort zone, throw myself into another challenge and learn. Or even when life throws the challenge at me, I'm like, yo, didn't expect this. This is actually quite rough. But when I wake up in the morning, the tears are gone. I'm just like, I'm going to have to learn how to figure this out. Why? According to Carol Dweck, it's because at the core, in the subconscious, I believe that my abilities and my intelligence can be grown through learning, through effort, through hard work, through dedication. But somebody with a fixed mindset will see a challenge and collapse and never show up because they don't think they can learn, they can improve their intelligence, they can improve their abilities because they think what God has given them is what God has given them. I hope this has made sense. And the other thing about somebody with a growth mindset is that they're able to persist in the face of challenges. Why? Because they see failure differently. I want you to check out I was teaching a class on how to fail. That somebody with a growth mindset sees failure as, oh, it knocked me hard and I'm actually now on the ground and I'm going to have to get up and figure it out. I'm sure, listen to this mindset, I can learn, I can put effort, I can grow my abilities to sort this thing out. I can improve my intelligence, I can improve my talent so that next time I have the skills, the mindset, the know-how, the knowledge, and also to beat this thing in the future. So you see that by that mindset, somebody is able to rise and try again, and then fall and actually say, where did I miss it? I'm going to try that and try to win at it again. And so normally you don't see this because you are not aware of this, because somebody who tries A and A doesn't work, they can then go say, how did I fail at A so I can come and try A again? So when somebody tries A doesn't work, and they try B doesn't work, they try C doesn't work, you're always thinking we are both trying. What you're not noticing is that you actually want to conquer this A. You want to see what happened there that I can learn and actually do better there. The other one, you didn't realize they gave up. They're like, you're with A. I'm not persisting. I'm moving to the next one because A has shown me my intelligence is over here, or my abilities are over here. I'm not going to try A again. That's it. I'm done. Let me try for B. You get my point? So you'll always see people trying, but you never see, where are they trying? Have they given up on this one because they believe their abilities, their intelligence cannot win on this one? When you lost on that one, did you then say, let me take this failure and figure this thing out and go do it again? That is what a growth mindset says. It means you can persist in a particular direction because you're constantly learning, dropping and bouncing back. That takes a mindset. It's not something that's just going to be, you have to develop that mindset, grow it, and grow your appetite for it. Yeah? Don't say I've fallen twice. That means I joined the fixed mindset people. That means this is not for me. Let me try something else. Maybe the skills, the endowment, I don't have the talent. So the appetite, the stretch of your growth mindset also has to grow so you can persist and do bigger things regardless of the setbacks that you encounter in that particular space. The other one about a growth mindset person is that they value effort. They believe that by putting effort into something, you can actually improve it. Somebody with a fixed mindset doesn't believe that if you put effort into something, you can grow your talent in that thing. There are those who actually believe that. So I look at even the superstars in sports. I like sports just by watching, not to say I'm following sport, but usually when it's documentaries that show me how certain people processed what they processed, I realize that there are those who become champions and they worked very, very hard. There's sometime when somebody was saying that they were released to go to the club after a long time at sports camp, and when they came back in the morning, they saw Kobe going to the field to play, and they're like, dude, this is the one time we were released to go and enjoy ourselves, and you are out here going for practice at 4 in the morning when we are just arriving from the club. And so it said to me that he saw effort as something that can better him, that if I keep putting in effort in this particular thing, I can get better and better and better. So for me, I then see that now with the understanding of a growth mindset and say, this is somebody who values effort, so this is somebody with a growth mindset. They believe that if they put an effort in something, they can get better at it. Whereas somebody says, hey, look, we've been putting effort, now we're done. Guys, whatever we have, then in Setswana we have this phrase, "Aisule isule." You find somebody who's like, no, we have tried, Sham. We are not about to try no more. It means what we don't have, God never endowed us with it. So let's keep it pushing. So people with a growth mindset value effort. And I like that. And I like to inculcate that in my team. To say, guys, we have to put an effort and trust that when we're putting an effort and improving the same thing and working on improving it, ultimately we'll get it right. I never like to see my team just letting go of something like, we tried this thing, it didn't work, let's leave it. No, I try to say, guys, let's figure it out. Let's experiment. And I got that from Stephen Bartlett recently. I was like, yay, Steve, I like that. Where you were saying that they experiment with the team. Even when they put up a video, they'll try different thumbnails and experiment with how we react to it. So I like that. So the idea is to see that effort actually brings results. That's a growth mindset. So don't see something not working and you give up on it like, no, we're never going to do this. So that's a growth mindset. The other thing that maybe we are juxtaposing with the fixed mindset about a growth mindset person is that they actually they learn from criticism. They welcome feedback and they learn from criticism. I, for one, when somebody gives me criticism, I can see when it's somebody who's spiteful and they're giving me this criticism just to spite me because I'm constantly learning, trying things, and I like innovation. I like innovation, and I'm a teacher of innovation. So I'm always going to be trying things. So it's easy to just want to crush me all the time. So it's not like those subliminal things I don't see. But I always come back and try to see what I can do with that criticism because I do want this innovation to go forward. So what can I do with this criticism? So that is the area where I keep trying to stretch myself. When somebody tells me, especially in business, when a client is not buying, they're not buying. So you actually have to take in that criticism and see how you can better your offer, or how your offer could better match their problems. So taking criticism for you as a high achiever is very, very important, and welcoming feedback for you as a high achiever is very important. And it's never going to be nice. Forget nice. When somebody gives you feedback or criticism, it's never going to be, hey, I have a growth mindset, I like criticism, keep it coming. No, we are all human. So it's always going to come and knock you a little bit under the belt. But then how do you then receive it? Work on that growth mindset so we can take it and sort of improve. So even when I'm going through like a tough time, where I can see this person is really attacking me and they're telling me that I'm the one who's horrible, I'm the one who did wrong, I'm the one, and they're just, as beautiful and clean as they come. I even try, even in those moments, to say, what is this person saying? Okay, so how can I take what they're saying and sort of improve myself? Or what is it that I did that got this person thinking so wrong? Because I'm sitting here thinking they're thinking wrong, isn't it? So instead of glorying in my righteousness, how is about I step into their shoe and sort of see V from their perspective and see that even this thing that I thought was so innocent, they're not seeing it as innocent. So what can I learn from that? So the idea is for you and I both to grow, to receive criticism. Criticism is never nice. To take feedback is never nice, and sort of grow from there. And try to do like a 360 review as well when you're doing your performance reviews. Talk to your team, and after you review somebody's work, just sit there and let them give you your own feedback. There are those who lick your boots a little bit. But then what I like to do is I like to tell them, what do you like about the way I lead you, and what irks you about the way I lead? So I give them an opportunity to tell me, oh, V, you're the best. V, you're great, you do so well, da 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 da. And then I say, then what irks you? So that box also can be filled. And when I ask, I ready myself for all the things that they're going to tell me about what irks me. Because obviously when somebody says, this about you irks me, I'm going to think, no, it's not so. So I try to brace myself so I don't attack back when somebody gives me. I'm just giving you an example about how I try to develop my own growth mindset. I create room for my team to tell me the parts that they don't like. Some of them be like, you have too much energy. I'm like, oh, so I should tone it down for you. But then when I tone it down, you're like, no, V, when you see me, you're no longer excited. I'm like, guys, I don't know which part you said I had too much energy. I had to tone it down. Now I tone it down. You can't live without my energy. But those are some of the things that you then open yourself up to sort of hearing criticism and, taking it constructively to grow. And that's part of a growth mindset. The 360 leadership review, I really like it, where everybody's under review and everybody's looking to grow. And you can have it as a culture in your organization where tell me where I stepped on your toes and I tell you where you stepped on my toes, my weaknesses, my strengths. Let's all grow. Let's not have anybody sitting on a glorious chair that can't be touched and it's golden and you can't even leave your fingerprints. Let everybody know we love you as much as we hate you. So let's tell you where you're winning and where you're not winning, and it's all done in the spirit of growth, not in a spiteful, let me get you manner. The last thing that I want to highlight about a growth mindset is that growth mindset people are inspired by the success of others. They don't see the success of others as an insult to them. And this is why when you have a fixed mindset, you think what you have can't grow. Therefore, as somebody who grows any further than you are, you think, that's it for me, because the little I had is the little I had. So seeing somebody else's success actually makes you resent them. But if you have a growth mindset and you know you can learn, you can grow your abilities, you can put more effort, you can ask questions and improve or learn or try, put effort. When somebody else grows, you see it as an opportunity to clap and learn. So their success motivates you. I don't know how many times I've watched documentaries of successful people and literally cry. Like, just be there sobbing. Even when I was watching Maya Angelou's masterclass, I think she was on Oprah, I was just crying and sobbing the whole time, just in motivation, just so motivated, so inspired. And that's why I've been aware that I naturally have a growth mindset. I want to learn from others. I want to celebrate others. I'm just all like, yeah. And sometimes people with a fixed mindset think that the people with a growth mindset are stupid. One, they're stupid to be celebrating like that when somebody else is doing well. They're like, no, you can't possibly be that happy. You can't possibly mean it. That clapping is too loud. You can't possibly be that happy. They don't realize that it's coming from their own subconscious mind where they believe they can't grow to become like that. So you can't possibly be that happy for that person. The other part where they think you're stupid, which is something I've seen in my own life, in my own adventures, is where I throw myself into entrepreneurship and that thing fails. And I try that one and it fails and I put it all together and I try it again. And then it doesn't work well and I figure it out and I want to try it again. Like, is this girl stupid? At what point do you learn? And I'm not saying that you have to be stubborn. I'm just saying, for me, I like figuring it out. I like seeing where I can learn, where I can improve myself or improve my understanding of the market, improve my thinking. All of that is always a big project that is exciting, but somebody else with a growth mindset feels, this thing here is about to expose me and I'm not about to sit here and allow it to expose my inability. So done. Next. So however, the point here is that growth mindset people are inspired by the success of others. They see it as motivation to grow their own talents, to grow their own abilities and intelligence, because at the core of a growth mindset, they believe those abilities can be improved. Those talents and that intelligence can be improved. That's why when they see somebody else who has improved it and done it, they're like, yay, there's hope for me, honey, I'ma do it. That's a growth mindset. And I want to talk to you about why I believe that as a high achiever, somebody who wants to achieve a lot for yourself in your executive role or in your career and also in your business as an entrepreneur, you want to kill it, or in your political career. I know that those are high achievers who want to grow their political career, wherever that space is. Why it's important to have a growth mindset. One, I think, is for adaptability. The world is constantly changing, and so if you and I are not changing, we're going to actually perish. It's an adapt or perish kind of world, because even when you know something and you say your abilities, knowledge and talent, we can maybe say it's at 58% in whatever area, yeah, the world is changing to the point where that 58% later doesn't even represent 58%. You now are one of the people who literally know nothing. So in your quest to grow, if you don't have a growth mindset, you're not going to be adaptable. When things change, you're not going to be changing with them, or you're going to be probably one of the late adopters of certain things because you don't want to move with things. So today, adaptability is everything. The more you pivot and adjust and learn new things is how you survive and stay ahead of the game. So you cannot afford to not be adaptable, or you cannot afford to not have a growth mindset if you claim you want to achieve success. Because achieving success means you are the one to claim the gold when everybody else is coming behind you. How are you claiming the gold when you don't want to adapt, when you don't want to learn new things, when you don't want to be amongst those who are challenging their comfort zones, amongst those who are adopting this unknown thing and embarrassing yourself while learning it? So a growth mindset helps with adaptability, and we all need to be adaptable for us to achieve our massive goals. And the other one is it helps with resilience. I spoke about it. Seeing a challenge that makes, or a failure that hits you, it knocks you down. And when you're down, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna punch back and fight and get to the other side. How do you do it if you don't think you can improve your skills, you can improve your abilities, your talents, your intelligence? It only is with a growth mindset that you can actually be resilient. Fall and bounce back, and fall and bounce back. The bounce back part is the most difficult one, because it then draws from your subconscious. What mindset do you have? Do you think this thing is figure outable? Do you think you can learn this thing and become better? Or do you think this thing, because it has knocked you down, it has exposed that you don't have the ability, just give up? Where is your mindset on it? That is where you must actually adopt a growth mindset that says, I can learn, I can figure it out, I can grow, I can stretch, I can improve my abilities and knock this thing down. You see, so it's very confrontational with life, you facing life and showing resilience. You can't do it without a growth mindset. The other one is about continuous improvement. And so there are many schools of thought around continuous improvement, but the main point to understand about continuous improvement is if you don't have a desire to continue growing, you don't have a desire to continue improving yourself, you are going to start having a desire to pull others down. But because the people I'm speaking to now are people who want to achieve a lot, we have to have a growth mindset, because that's the one that supports learning, believing that this thing that I can't do, I can improve. I did so poorly in a presentation last week. I think I can work on my presentation skills and actually get better. And that doesn't mean when I'm working on my presentation skills, I've stopped learning how to raise my kids or how to take care of the other thing, because life has got all these many facets. And the reason people fold and give up is because they feel there are too many areas to learn, I can't. So to have a growth mindset helps for you to continuously improve, and not just in one area of life, and also to look at the things that you're doing so horribly today and believe that you can actually do them better. It doesn't even matter which area it is. Believing, remember, mindset is about those set of beliefs that you have in your subconscious. Believing that you can get better at this thing and continuing to improve it. Even when you have improved, continue to improve on that thing. Don't arrive. That's the enemy of the growth mindset, is where you ever reach a space where you think you have arrived. And that's where you then stop. The world doesn't stop. It keeps moving. Where you had arrived, you find you are the last on the lane. Everybody else has moved, and you start saying, we were the first, I was the first to do this. It doesn't matter that you're the first to do it. Somebody else is going to come in and going to do it. If you don't keep continuously improving, you'll be the last, and nobody will care that you were the first. So this is some hard truth that we must swallow. The other one is, I feel a growth mindset enables one to have sustainable success. Remember, if you succeed today, the point I just made, the world itself is constantly changing. New technologies, even if you're in business, customers have new preferences that they have developed. So you want to move with the new technologies, new preferences, the global influence that's coming on all of us and all our products and services. So you want to constantly be improving. Why? You want to sustain your success. You don't want to be successful today, and when things change in an external environment, you're the first one to fold and go under. So the market is changing. Preferences, competition, everything is constantly changing, and there are drivers for that change, like social media, technology, etc. They are driving the change, and therefore, because the change is always happening, if you were successful today, you need to have a growth mindset where you're learning, adapting, and doing newer things, improving your skills, your abilities, and those of your team for you to sustain that success. For long-term achievement, remember I said at the beginning, I want us to play the long game, and a growth mindset helps you win in the longer term as you keep improving and reiterating and going at it again, persisting, learning, figuring it out, and getting better. That sustains you over the long term than these short-term wins or even the short-term failures. So that, I think, is why I would advocate, as high achievers, whether you're in business or you are in any other field, if you're a high achiever, you must adopt a growth mindset. Nothing to be stubborn about, nothing to be so proud and say, I have a growth mindset. No, we must all still keep improving, keep bettering ourselves. Even if you have identified, like me, that you have a natural proclivity or, you are naturally wired. I don't know if it's natural or I adopted it as I was growing up, but I like learning, I like improving, I like trying things, but that doesn't mean I ever arrive. So that's why I'm saying, for you and I both, we have to grow our minds, we have to grow our abilities, we have to grow our talents. Even after identifying what holds us back, continuous improvement, adaptability, learn, grow, persist, rise and go again. Even for our teams, it can help us then build our culture around the growth mindset. And that has been, for me, most important. When I come into a meeting, or if I have a project that is failing, in my mind, I'm thinking, how can we learn from this? How can we grow from it? I'm not thinking, it's coming to expose me that I know nothing. No, you can't succeed if that's how you're thinking. You have to get your team also to think in that way, that we're going to fall, rise and fall and rise and figure this thing out and get to the other side. It might not be today, might not be tomorrow, but we're going to figure it out. It only happens better when we keep learning. Not to say that we're falling for the sake of falling, but the learning part of it, that's what the growth mindset is about. It's about how do we learn to improve our skills, to improve our abilities and go it again. So in closing, talent alone is not enough. Being ambitious and knowing that you want big things alone is not enough. We are going to have to get into stretching, first identifying what mental paradigm do we have. And sometimes even trying to figure out how we got to that mental paradigm can also help. So you're more aware of your mindset and your mental paradigm. And once you've figured out where you are in your mental paradigm, in your mindset, then you can start working towards, how do I learn? How do I improve? How do I even shift that paradigm? How do I expose myself to better information, better environment, and better things, really all around, to start shifting that mental paradigm and getting myself a bit more to the other side. So you have to work on that, because the mindset that you bring to the table is what causes you to succeed in life in general, or not to make it. And so in encouragement, I like to close with encouraging us, is to start recognizing that our mental paradigms can be shifted towards a growth mindset, and that a growth mindset will serve us. When we start believing that the little abilities, intelligence, talents that we have can be grown if we put effort, if we learn, if we expose ourselves to newer environments, newer things, newer people, we can improve almost anything about what we are doing, whether it's how you do Excel or how you use AI. Everything can be learned. That mindset is what will help us to set ourselves apart, to be adaptable, to have sustained success, and to be persistent and resilient in the face of, setbacks. So that mindset is what I'm calling us to sort of adopt and run with, and never arrive. Thank you for joining me today. Join me again in my next video. I like sharing these things with you as I'm growing, as I'm figuring them out. I like sharing them with you. Put your thoughts in the comments. I'll just be there chowing the comments that you have put there. And please subscribe if you have not subscribed, so that when I put up a video of this nature, you are there to chow it and share this information. Share this video with somebody. Share it, send it to their phone so they can also watch and learn and grow with you. Because we like to say that growth is so lonely, or it's lonely at the top. It's because we don't share. Forward this to somebody who can learn and grow with you as you are growing with me. Thank you for joining me.